All glories to Amrita and Dhanvantari, the Supreme Divine Healers. Welcome back to All Integral Love Expansion with part 2 of the article about the fake corona pandemic. Do viruses exist, etc., based on Dr. Hama's new medicine and an article by Mr. Pillhar from Austria. Free translation, part 2. So, as we discussed, the basic modern medicine of today, they don't claim, even they themselves don't claim that viruses are alive or have their own metabolism. Okay, they don't have their own metabolism, and that's the difference between the so-called viruses and other microbes like fungi, bacteria, protozoans, or whatever they're called. Okay, because these others, they have their own metabolism, and the new medicine by Dr. Hama, knows that there is that we are in a symbiotic relationship with those microbes. They are the those who clean up the organism, and if we don't have them, we are in trouble. So Dr. Hama often explained that the medicinal establishment, through the studies, gives us, through the schools, the media, etc., certain types of thinking patterns. And it's very easy to fall back into these patterns and thereby lose the clear view for the basic fundamentals and facts, and to scientifically examine what is assumed to be facts. And until a few years ago, around 20 years ago, I think it was, until AIDS or HIV came onto the scene, even Dr. Hama believed that viruses would exist. But with AIDS or HIV, he finally came to understand the whole scam that was going on with the idea of viruses. So, because he was examining it and began to wonder how one so-called virus could instigate so many different healing phases, or be working in so many different healing phases, when in the other healing phases the microbes, fungi, etc. are always very specialized to a certain healing phase. Why would it be so much different in the AIDS or HIV? And why, that's another very important point, would one be considered HIV positive if there are antibodies, supposed antibodies, found in the blood? And that actually is a complete contradiction to the traditional idea of the medicine as it is taught nowadays in the universities. And it should be noted that in the case of HIV and also in Corona, never, ever is there a test which proves the actual existence of the virus, because it is much too small, supposedly. It's always the supposed antibodies that have been proven or been searched for and tested for. So, for example, coming back to the theory, it was always assumed that if there are hepatitis antibodies in the body, then there is no need for a hepatitis vaccination, because supposedly the body already developed an immune response and is immunizated, how do you say in English? You know what I mean. So it's already immune, so there is no need for a vaccine. But in HIV, it was all thrown overboard, and it was claimed, postulated, whatever you want to say, that if there's antibodies, then there must be the virus, and therefore you have to take AZT, which is a very, very aggressive type of chemotherapy. In German that would be ab zum Teufel, or to the devil with you. So actually the AIDS history was in the 80s, and then later, like 20 years later, Dr. Harmer, around 2000, he understood this whole fakery. So they were claiming, the medical establishment was claiming, that half of the human population would be dead by 2010 or 2015. And now, did the population of humanity collapse massively since then? Are you recognizing something? Or maybe you can remember the swine flu and the bird flu and the panic that was instigated around that time. That was all just test trials, how docile the population would accept the propaganda. So, and it was all blamed on an imaginary virus. So the same is happening today. There is no proof of a virus. They are saying they found the virus was generated in the lab, etc. But who has ever seen the proof of the virus? You may believe it because you are being told by the trustworthy media, by the trustworthy government and health organizations like the WHO, yeah, good, the philanthropist, Bill Gates, or whatever you want to believe. So, same is happening today, and it's in a way it's becoming boring, to give attention to these psychopaths who want to vaccinate the whole population with their poisonous so-called vaccines. But the problem is this: we don't want to give them attention, we don't want to give them energy or life energy, but we are all affected by the power that these people affect through their institutions, governments, etc., because they have made the masses believe. And that's the point. People act on their belief, conscious or subconscious. And when people are programmed in such a way, then they can be manipulated by the media, the state, the police, etc., the religion. Yeah, they're all blowing the same horn. So that's very dangerous, and we are all affected by it, if we want or not. I mean, like, maybe a few who live completely isolated in nature. They may be more or less unaffected, but that's the very few of us. So the governments, they have put travel restrictions and everyone is affected. And people want to leave their countries, want to leave Europe especially, but they're not even allowed to. I mean, who are the governments to take away our human rights, and who are we to allow the governments to unlawfully do so? We have to know what are our God-given rights. We have not to accept to be the personas which are owned by the corporate governments. That is the thing to think about. We are free souls under God, and our only responsibility, reliability, is the soul and the super soul. That's the only thing we are liable to. So anyway, and it's all based, you are restricted in so many ways. The economy is crashed, people are losing their existence, etc., all based on this lie of Pasteur. And here comes another interesting point. Pasteur, on his deathbed, he admitted, because it was weighing heavy on him, that actually the medium is everything and the microbe is nothing. Meaning, microbes can only thrive and reproduce if there is a nutrition for them. So if the body is clean, then there will be no pathogens. He said this on the deathbed, and it was on all his Wikipedia pages about Pasteur until the 19th of April, and then it was scrubbed. You can find videos on that subject as well. Pretty interesting, isn't it? It was there until a few days ago, but then it became maybe a little bit too uncomfortable for the powers that be, that this information was out there on the trustworthy Ministry of Truth, the Wikipedia, where you get all your trustworthy information. So it's all based on this basic misunderstanding that the microbe is the cause of the disease, when it's actually the helper of the body, which has been activated and deactivated by the intelligence, divine intelligence in the body. Okay? So, and those who are behind this matrix, they are just laughing about the stupidity, docility, and dumbness of the people. It's time to wake up, people, or you will be completely controlled, vaccinated, microchipped, even worse control than we already have. Okay? So that was maybe a little bit of a rant, and we're already at 13 minutes. So I think I have one more video to go on this, in this series. I hope this was interesting, and I'm looking forward to your comments. Please, for the benefit of all, click the like button and share this information with everyone else. If you understand it, if you don't understand it, you can ask or investigate into it. I'm into alternative medicine since 23 years. I have read and studied about the fake pharma industry, the lies, and I know what I'm talking about. So make up your mind, and if you think and understand what I'm talking about, then please share it for the benefit of all. Check the descriptions in the video, and may the Om Love be with you. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.